Here we are at American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're gonna do a little tour today. I was finally able to get a tour for my channel. I'm very happy about that. So enjoy. American Family Field, home of the Milwaukee Brewers. Autograph Alley. So, what's that? County Stadium. That's where I saw some of my first Brewers games.
Milwaukee Brewers. My name is Randy. I love Milwaukee. I love the Brewers. And I love baseball. And for the next 90 minutes, hopefully you get that and you learn something new about either one of those things. So because it's a game day and because it's 12:15, we're going to turn the tour completely on its side. Because they want us off the ball, they want us off the field by like 22. So I'm not going to do my intro or anything other than that. You know my name. We're going to get right onto the field. We're going to kind of do everything backwards, but we're going to do all the things that we can do. Now, I might hit some pivots every now and then. Sometimes they throw some things, you can't do this. The only thing I know that we can't do is because it's a game day, we won't be able to go into the visitors clubhouse. But I'll be able to show you all the other things that come along with it. All right? So with that, we'll get right on the field. Let's go.
Can we go on the slide?
No. Okay, two other expectations. No slide, and if we see players, maintain composure. If they say hi, you can say hi, but we can't go up and get on it. Might be tight for, we'll see. Okay, thank you. Folks will get you even a better picture over here. All pictures are good, yes, all pictures are freely available. There's one, the only rule I have, friends, you cannot touch or go in the grass, okay? So stay on the corner side. Go this way. Friends, we'll have a chance for pictures. I'll get you time for pictures.
Take a picture of that. Johnsonville. The Brewers have more rights to the food and everything.
So we'll talk about that. So we usually go into that, but because I want to get you on the snow first. Yep.
So the capacity is small. Because you have all this going on here, you don't have to reach it.
Awesome, guys.
Okay, so when they build the baseball park, and I'm going to give you all the other details about the park when we get off the field. But the things that I want to point out here on the field are you're standing on a competitive advantage because there's some things you can't change, right? Base paths 90 feet, right? First to second 90 feet. Home plate to pitcher's mound 60 feet 6 inches. All that has to be the same. You're standing on the warning track, which is a competitive advantage here at American Family Field. It's 24 feet versus 16 feet. It's considered a 5-step warning track versus a 3-step warning track. So that's competitive advantage number one for American Family Field. The other thing, when they designed the ballpark, they said we want to have explosive plays. And if you've watched any Brewer games this year, stealing home runs has become a thing. And so they created a 8-foot wall all the way around, and that's actually done a lot to a very, very entertaining ball play. The other thing they asked is, Hank Aaron and Robin Yount, we have this new stadium, what do you guys want? Hank Aaron, obviously home run hitter, I want to see the ball fly out of the park. Well, if I tell you that the way it's mechanically cooled, the air flows like this, from outfield, from the home plate out this way, and I tell you they open those panels, kind of gets in that jet stream, so to speak, and you look at the statistics, American Family Field is a home run hitting park. Hank Aaron, check. Robin Yount, Robin, what would you like as part of your ballpark? My favorite play is the triple. If you look at left center and right center, it's a little banked. That's because Robin Yount liked the triple, and there's a better chance for a triple when you hit that. So that's kind of cool. So our stops are going to be, so if you want group shots here, this is like probably one of the best shots here at the park. If you want group shots, let's do them quickly. I can certainly manage that. Then we're going to stop at the warning track, and we're going to stop at the dugout. So those are our 3 points. We have about 15 minutes to get through that.
I'm finally back in American Family Field.
So the reason I stopped here is it wouldn't be a tour if I didn't mention something about the racing sausages. Okay? So the racing sausages come in that door. They usually start right about here, and it's a hard run all the way to about the same point on the other side. And I'm going to tell you, it's not predetermined. It's been kind of fun because I have 3 kids. All 3 of them are racing sausages, and it's kind of a random thing. The first one to get the and I have 2 fun stories. So they're going to let us down. Look at that. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. You'll go first. Okay. So 2 stories with the racing sausages. So my daughter was younger, racing sausages. So imagine a big foamy type outing, and there was PVC piping as a frame, right? So Lexi, a pretty athletic and competitive girl, she's going to go, right? So she goes, boom, boom, boom. That PVC piping hit her there. Now you know why when you see a racing sausage, if you look at the game, they hold it tight to you so it doesn't move on you, right? Okay, so she came home with some bruises. The other one is my son on the warning track behind home plate. You ever see a sausage take a header?
Yep.
It hurts because like you got T-Rex, that's all you're doing, right? Because you're kind of doing this. It hurts. Well, Eric was rounding behind home plate, making the left-hand turn. The sausage next to him dropped. Eric, being somewhat athletic, jumped over it and continued running. He didn't win the race, but he jumped over it. That night on ESPN, my son, 10 seconds, the sausage that jumped over the other sausage during the sausage. It was kind of fun. It was kind of fun.
They do it every game?
Yeah.
What inning?
6th inning.
Bob, you want to get in?
I don't want to win them. They look bad if I want.
Johnson?
I get bats on. You're good.
You gotta go out that way.
This is cool.
No, you can get those pictures. You can take pictures in the dugout here. So a couple things. This is the visitor's dugout. Behind home plate, that's where the roof pivots. So there's the euchre seats that are up behind home plate. That's the only obstructed view in all of the stadium. And the roof, I'll show you a little bit more. The roof kind of pivots on my wrist. So there's 3 sections that come over here on the third base side. There's 2 sections there. There's 7 panels, 5 that are movable. And when I show you the operating room, the roof operating center, I can go more into some of the details. So this in the heat of the summer, this bakes. And from what I've heard, on cool days that is heated. At least doesn't work over here on the visitor side. And that fan, that doesn't work either. Just kidding, it's the visitor side. Right, the visitor side. So we can't go in the clubhouse, unfortunately, but we'll go down where the umpires enter. So what you can do is can sneak up over there, get a picture on our way. So we're gonna come back out of the dugout and basically go down where the umpires would come in. Feel free to step up, take a picture around or whatever. Unfortunately, this is one of the things that kind of have to pivot during it. So obviously they're wanting us off. So we'll do our thing. Come over here, get some pictures, and then move on. You can imagine all the amenities, right? The ice baths, the saunas. There's their own personal shop, the dining room, weight rooms, all the things that you can imagine that would be in a weight room. But then there's a couple other things. There's a display that has the plan for the day. So it's probably something like, game time at 6:50 or national anthem 6:57, game time 7:10, batting practice 5:30, something like that. And then on takeaway days, it'll be 30 minutes after the game, the bus is coming and we're going away. So it'll kind of have an itinerary, kind of like that display. But today, like right now, this is the traveling day for the Mets. Their equipment managers are ahead of the team. The team typically stays at the Pfister. So if you're interested in getting autographs from the Mets, that's the place to go. Go to the Pfister. They leave about 6 hours before the game, and on a bus, and there you can see there's lines waiting for people getting autographs. Funny thing about the Pfister, there was a player recently that didn't stay at the Pfister. Does anybody know about the history of the Pfister?
Is it haunted?
They believe it's haunted. Mookie Betts stayed at a different place. So I've stayed, it's perfectly fine. I'm not sure what categorizes as haunted. But nonetheless, so they'll get here about 6 hours before the game. But that equipment manager's ahead, obviously, with the duffel bags and whatever they need. But, every team kind of has 5 or 6 different uniforms, right? Pinstripe, shades of gray, blue, white, whatever, right? Well, how does the equipment manager know which uniform to put on the rack for tonight's game? For each team. So the visitor team and the home team, typically the same person determines which uniform they wear that night. Anybody know? The starting pitcher. The starting pitcher determines, I want the pinstripes, or I want the Milwaukee Brewers, or whatever. That's typical, of course, unless marketing overrides it and say, you will wear these. So starting pitcher. So another baseball geeky thing. What's the average life of a baseball?
3 pitches.
Okay, I've heard 5, but we're on the same order, right? It's a very small number. 5 pitches, 3 to 5 pitches. Okay, so How many balls do they prepare for a game? And now before you answer, so the umpires, that's one of their things, is they prepare the balls for the game. And did you ever hear how? There's actually a river in New Jersey that has a special kind of clay. They take the clay, they work it in 1, 2, 3. How many do you prepare for a game?
100.
12 dozen, 144 is the number on here. 144.
So who's preparing this?
The umpires.
Wow.
The umpires. So I mean, you see sometimes a pitcher gets the ball, it doesn't like the way it looks, or doesn't like the way it looks at him, just throws it aside. Other times you'll see him kind of working it in even more, kind of getting that grit, trying to get it so they can get a little bit more spin on it, right? Okay. So we're going to go out to the service area. Stay on the left. You'll see the kind of the walkway. Keep your head out or ears out for golf carts. They spin around the corners pretty quick. I'll try to be in front of everybody. I'll take the first hit for everybody. So just be careful, okay? What's that? Not over a golf cart. Free to take pictures. Sir, let's put up. Thank you. So actually, as you guys, when you take pictures here, we're going to go over there, and there is the best logo, the best brewer logo that we have in the building. So get your picture here, and then just go right over where there's optional exceptions, if that's something that you're interested in. So you can have the picture section.
Number 22. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This also.
Yeah. Yep.
So as you can imagine, this is the interview room. So we're going to be going back up. We're going to be going up the elevator. So like I said, we're kind of doing everything in reverse. So this is where Pat Murphy would address the media. When we go back out, we're going to be going on the elevator that the reporters will be taking down. So we're going to do the tour actually backwards. So feel free to take all the pictures you want. This actually room doubles as a non-denominational church on Sunday mornings for both teams.
Oh.
So some of the more creative ones I've had a high school student get up there with confidence and say, I'm announcing my intention to attend The Ohio State University.
Wow, he was.
Yeah, he was pretty bold. But the other one was there was a group of ladies that offered to take him. No, that's okay. I said, well, why not? It's like, we work for a competitor. It's like, okay. So I'm going to take, since we're in a nicer area, I'm going to take the opportunity and kind of give you my 5-minute what I would have done if I didn't race you down. So feel free to grab a seat if you'd like. If there's any other pictures, feel free. So thank you for working with me on getting on the field. That we were able to kind of at least experience the field for 15, 20 minutes. I appreciate that. It's just one of the constraints.
All of you were here to attend the perfect game picked by today's Brewers
Oh.
against mediocre
This could be-
Metropolitan.
And if you missed last night's news, the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Again.
So what I would, like if we were starting this tour, what I would give you is a little bit of background about baseball, about Milwaukee Brewers baseball. So the Brewers actually were an American Association baseball team. They were a minor league team from 1901 to 1953. And that's important. They used to play at Borchard Field on the near north side of Milwaukee. And that's important because that's where Bud Selig developed his passion for baseball. He used to watch the Brewers at Borchard Field. So then in 1953, actually in the early 50s, Milwaukee has always been a big small town, or a small big town. But we were just on the cusp of a major league team. And in the 50s, we were kind of, hey, we want a major league team. Look at how successful our minor league team is. Well, we actually built County Stadium, and in a little bit I'm going to show you where County Stadium was relative to American Family Field. So they built County Stadium before having a Major League Baseball team. So then in 1953, Boston was sharing two teams. They had the Braves and they had the Red Sox. And the Braves didn't want to share a city anymore. So they ended up coming to Milwaukee as the Milwaukee Braves. So we had the Milwaukee Braves from 1953 to 1965. Never had a losing season. It was great. But, well, we won a World Series in 57. We lost the World Series to the Yankees in 58. But we never had a losing season. Well, like you're going to hear as a theme for Milwaukee, for us that live in Milwaukee, we're that small town that's a borderline big town. The Braves leadership wanted greener, bigger pastures, and they moved out to Atlanta. And that's the team that exists today. It was sad because my son and I do the ballpark chaser thing, and we enjoyed your stadium, and we enjoyed the Brave Hall of Fame, but had to cry a bit when all of our Milwaukee stuff is there. All the Milwaukee Brave stuff is in the Atlanta Brave Museum, which is cool. But nonetheless, we lost the team. So Bud Selig comes into the picture. Now, mind you, he's only in his mid-30s at this time. I can't imagine in my mid-30s. He made his money as an auto dealer. So he's starting to pound the pavement saying, hey, Milwaukee, we lost that team. We're still a viable Major League city. So for several years, actually we actually had White Sox games at County Stadium, drew 30,000, 40,000 people, did pretty well. And we were really close. We were really, really close to becoming the Milwaukee White Sox, but that fell through. Then in 1969, there was another franchise that started in Seattle, the Seattle Pilots. They lasted for 1 year, said we're bankrupt, closed up. And for whatever reason, it took them months to figure out what. And here Bud Selig is kind of like, hey, look at us, we have a stadium, we've proven we're a major league city. Well, it had to go to a court, a judge had a rule. Now, that was about a week before the season started. There literally was a van in Salt Lake City full of Seattle Pilot stuff. And they're waiting for the judge, where do you want us to send this stuff? Well, finally, Milwaukee was judged as, you will get the team. So that van gets out here. We had 5 days to get ready for that first day, that first opening day in Milwaukee in 1970. And so they hired a bunch of seamstresses to take the P off and put a simple M, which was the first emblem for a number of years for the Milwaukee Brewers. We had the Barrel Man, that was our thing. That was from the Milwaukee Brewer minor league team. So we had our team. We got blown out that first day against the California Angels. Andy Messersmith pitched 11-0 shutout, so we really got blown away. But we didn't care because we had a major league team. What I heard is that if you bought a soda or a popcorn, normally you have the logo of the team, right? It was Seattle Pilots. So any of the stuff, so it probably was rough going for those first couple weeks, if not first couple months, with having a baseball team back in Milwaukee. So, ups and downs in the 80s and 82, got to the World Series, didn't turn out the way we wanted, had some successes, but by the mid-90s, County Stadium was now getting pretty old. It was probably in its 40s plus, and you started having Camden Yards and some other stadiums that were starting having luxury boxes and some other things that kind of drew a lot more revenue than what poor little County Stadium could do. So Major League Baseball came and said, okay, Milwaukee, put up or shut up. Are you going to fund the stadium or not? And it actually went down to a vote by a single state senator that he flipped his vote. He won 13-12, that there would be public funding for a stadium in Wisconsin. He unfortunately lost his next term because of it, but there was a 5-county sales tax that would have amounted to about $11 a person. But we had our funding for a Major League Baseball team. So they started digging in 1997. It finished in 2001 as Miller Park. And it was Miller Park because that was the first naming rights for those first 20 years. A couple years ago, that expired, and now that's why you know it as American Family Field. So Miller Park at the time in 2001 cost $400 million. In today's dollars, that's about $700 million. If you compare it to what Texas did just a couple of years ago, $1.2 billion. So a pretty affordable stadium, and the fact that we have a roof is huge, is really huge, because, so I'm biased, but I think that's the best logo in all of sports. So does everybody, I said I'm biased, it's okay. You can have your opinion.
That is a good look, you know.
It's a cool logo, and so it started in 1977. They had we still had the Barrelman logo in 1977. The Brewers put a contest out, design our logo. And it was a Eau Claire college student that ultimately came up with that design. I heard it was actually brown and gold. Brown would never fly. But nonetheless, he got $2,000 for that. And he actually, in hindsight, he wished he would have negotiated a little bit more on the fact that it's been around for all these years. But what people don't realize is there's two unique images in that logo. Does everybody see the two unique images? Does everybody see the ball and the glove?
Yeah.
That's probably the more obvious one, right? The ball and the glove. The ball sits in. Actually, originally the ball was just the tilde. And when they reimagined it a couple of years ago, they kind of rebolded some things. They incorporated the results of the roof. Because what the roof has done since 2001, it made us a state team. When we were at County Stadium, we drew people from Green Bay and Shawano and La Crosse, but it wasn't much. We were a Milwaukee team, and there were visitors from the state. When we put the roof on, now you got people from all those 2-3 hours away that came to Brewer games, and the reason why is they were guaranteed to play a game because you had a roof. So now you have family reunions up in Shawano, Wisconsin, 40 people in August. Yeah, we can do it because they got a roof. And you can look at the attendance over the last 10, 15 years, even though we're the 30th of 30th size market, we're the top half of the attendance. And that's because we draw from the state. So we're a state team. We'll always be called the Milwaukee Brewers, but we become a state team. So when they reimagined the logo, they said Milwaukee Brewers, State of Wisconsin, City of Milwaukee are the three sections of the ball because it's become a state team. So, so I said about the public funding, a little bit later on the tour I'm going to show you some things. So now you kind of have this funny thing of you have two colors of money, two buckets of money. You have publicly funded money, and then you have Brewers operational money. So the publicly funded money, think of stadium infrastructure, roads, structure of the building, roof integrity, things of that nature. The Brewers, clearly it's brewer's salary. We saw the Barrel Yard, that's the restaurant, the team store. There's some other things I'm going to point out to you on the tour that come from that. The Brewers trying to figure out how many games do you play in a baseball season? 162. So there's 81 here. What do you do on those other days? And that's one of the things that the Brewers have been trying to solve. How do you make this fabulous facility more useful, draw us more in on non-game days? So I'll point those out. So that's the kind of stuff I would have said in the beginning to kind of set up the tour. So we just did the climax. The climax was so it goes downhill from now. So I'm just kind of setting expectations. No more slide, no more players. So anyway, if there's any questions, please throw them at me. Otherwise, we will head out. We'll take a sharp left and take another left to the elevator. So just once again, I'm sorry. Yeah, a lot of people don't see that. Thank you. just to round off, like I said, I'm kind of turned around because we don't do this all the time. So American Family Field, there's 4 levels. We met at the field level. We went to the service level, which was like underground. Right? So field level is 1. We're now on the road, which is 2. We're going to go to the club, and that's where we're going to finish, and then we're not going to go to the 4th level, which is the club. So this is roof operations. Kind of cool, because normally if you walk by this during the game, this would be a curtain. It's kind of like the Wizard of the Oz thing, curtain behind it. But a couple cool things. So I mentioned, so how fast? Right, I said, yeah, I didn't share with the roof though. So how fast does the roof open or close? Oh, is it? 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Right, so hold that. So a couple things about the roof. So I was trying to describe how it pivots on my wrist, right? There's those 3 panels that go one way and the 2 panels that go the other. They're interleaved, right? So one stacking the other, kind of like this, right? The amazing thing, so I was a program manager for engineering, so I get technical geeky, but it's so cool because this is an engineering marvel, right? So they pivot, basically a Christmas tree type thing where you have 5 4-foot ball bearings. That's what each panel sits in. Boom, 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 boom. So you have 3 on the one side, 2 on the other side. And that's how they pivot. And then they're panels. So where my fingertips are, there's basically small trains called bogies. And there's actually a picture of one right here. He came around the corner. But they're basically small trains. They look like small trains. And they sit on a monorail. And that's what's sitting in the outfield. So the outfield, the monorail, where it sits, they're all at the same level. But the ball bearings at home plate, they're at 3 different levels. So that's how the roof is kind of structured. So now if I told you those bogies were driven or managed by 2 60 horsepower electric drives, how much does it take to open or close the roof? And let me tell you a few other things. Think about that. So the roof is typically closed about 30 games a year. It's opened and closed about 240 times a year. Okay? So now, how much does it cost to open or close the roof once?
30.
So 30 grand times 240 times a year?
Yes.
Are you crazy?
Yes.
$12.
$11.25.
Electric drives is the key there.
$12.
$12. So the other thing that I was not able to show you or point out as well is like the highest point of the roof is about 330 feet and it spans 600 feet. So it's like kind of hustle you along. But it's basically 2 football fields. So some of the stuff that it didn't go all well in the beginning. There's only one other design like this in the world. And some of the things they did to replace ball bearings or replace bogies is an engineering feat all to itself in terms of moving heavy objects. Just pretty fascinating. So nonetheless, you got a view of the roof. This is where it all happens. Mitsubishi. Yeah, I do the tech tour. It's a lot of fun. Get all geeky. It's all fun.
What's the name?
American Family Field, or
Yeah, that.
that one. It was basically became a bidding war after the Miller term went up after 20 years. I'm sure it went out and a bunch of bidders, and American Family swooped in and gave them the branding dollars that they wanted. So it's American Family Field. There are a lot of things about Am Field. Some people call it that, but American Family wants to call it American Family Field. Yes, same one. It's an insurance and it's located out of Madison. Yeah. I'm sorry? No, so the Brewers determine it based on the forecast. Up until game time, and then at game time, then the umpire system. Yes.
Does it happen for the game time?
It does. It can happen during the game. Yeah, and then you'll see like heaters in some other grass. Right. Okay, so friends, we're going to go behind the scenes into like the operations and kind of thing. Same thing with the brewer, with the players. If you see people working, let's just mind our own. I'll take you to a couple places and just probably don't want to see. When we get a better view of the scoreboard, I would tell you that there's a new scoreboard. It's twice as big as it used to be. So it's over 12,000 square feet. It's twice as big. Before, it used to be 20 people used to operate all the information that happens during the game. Now it's over 25 people that are working in this room to give us all the images and all this information that happened during the game. And I think it's we were fortunate. There was one of the workers came through here one time when I had a tour, and I asked him if he'd mind just sharing 2 minutes of what you do. And it's like, my job is on the left field wall. They have all the scores of all the other games. That's his job. So you can just kind of imagine, it's kind of like, imagine managing a game here where it's scripted, but it's not, right? It's kind of like, you know what's going to happen, but you don't. You know what players are going to come in, you know what stats, but it's like, you can imagine, it's kind of like, you got balls and strikes, you got the hat game in the third inning, right? The entertainment, all that gets weaved in and is all managed by here. Just think of all the different pieces of information that change, that's all managed here. Kind of cool.
What dictates what replays they can play?
You know, that's a question I've gotten. I need to ask that question. I don't know, because obviously there's requirements, because sometimes the replays come up pretty quick and they show them even on the TV.
Well, you see them at home, you don't see them here.
Yeah, and I don't know I'm not sure what the logic there is. But yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of guidelines behind
I
all
don't
of
want
that.
to get the crowd riled up.
Do not make the umpires look bad.
Yeah, that could be. So, kind of a cool thing. So, on our left-hand side now, we're going to go down, it's called Broadcast Alley. So, there's 7 broadcast booths. There's a TV radio for both Brewers and visitors. There's a Telemundo, and then there's 2 additional ones that we're planning on using quite a bit in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, we're going to get to go on one.
TBS and ESPN.
Back there.
So this is the radio broadcast booth for Milwaukee Brewer baseball, and then Bob Uecker. Probably if you follow baseball at all, you've heard his name.
Yep.
So he sits right there where she's sitting right now. I can imagine that the Brewers or somebody got him this chair right there with Uecker on the back, kind of like thinking they're gonna give Bob a new chair, and he said, "No, I want my comfortable one." Just that's really nice, but anyway, he was a ball player. Actually, he grew up in Milwaukee. He went to Boys Tech, which is kind of cool because my dad went to Boys Tech. They went to school together. He went on to play in Major League Baseball. He was a catcher. He played with the Braves, the Phillies, and the Cardinals. He won a World Series with the Cardinals. Just to get a sense of his sense of humor, he's very dry. One of his things, and it's all about the delivery, and I'm not going to pretend to be him, but I'll tell you the line anyway. He had made the comment when he signed with the Braves for $3,000. He went home, told his dad. His dad was mad because he did not have that kind of money. Right? That's
I would have
just perfect Bob Uecker. So
said.
the other thing. So he just turned 90 this year, and he said, "I never would have thought I would have got to my batting average." So bunch of cool things.
Or his golf score.
Yeah, that could be true. And it is going up though, probably in the right direction. So the story of Bob Uecker as an announcer was, he, after he was done playing baseball in 1969, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's all right.
Excuse me, if you could come over this way.
Oh, that was this year.
You okay? When he started his, when he retired in 1969, he wanted to stay in Milwaukee, so he went to Bud Selig and asked him for a job. And Bud's like, well, you're a baseball player, how about you be a scout? So he was a scout for that first year. And the story from Bud Selig is, he came back from that first year with a notebook with gravy and mashed potatoes all over the notebook. And he said, we got to find something else for this guy to do. So they put him in that spot ever since 1971 as a radio announcer. So one of the unique things about Bob Uecker is he has a tree. Like coaches have trees, he has a tree. All these folks on the board, 5 of them have moved on to do their own thing. I think one actually is in Atlanta. Let's see, Joe Block, Corey Provis.
Yeah, Joe Black's in Atlanta.
Yeah, Joe Block, Corey Provis, Pat Hughes, Jim Powell, all moved on. And when you listen to Bob Uecker on the radio, it's not about him. He always lets his partner shine as well. So he's a Ford Frick Hall of Fame announcer, baseball Hall of Fame announcer. If you ever are in need of a pickup or need to laugh, just look up YouTube, Bob Uecker Hall of Fame acceptance speech. Hilarious, just absolutely hilarious. In the 70s, he was on Major League Baseball, Monday Night Baseball with Howard Cosell. A bunch of great lines there as well. He went on, he had a sitcom called Mr. Belvedere, and he did the movie. We saw the bullpen car, Major League. He did that movie as well.
Is that how you guys got the card?
Yeah, it actually was done in County Stadium. It was actually
Is that
done in County Stadium, and I'll show you that in a minute.
Is it the hole for the baseball? Oh, there it is right there.
So that's Bob Uecker. His favorite food is right behind you on the freezer. So Cedarcrest ice cream and then the adult beverage right there. I had a story of one of my fellow tour guides. He was walking the path ahead of the tour, and he kind of was just curious. He was like, "Is there a new Cedarcrest ice cream?" So he opened the fridge, and Uecker came in, and he said, "Sit down." Sit down. Like, and then, crap, I'm in trouble.
Busted.
You're right. And he's like, well, I got to get back and do another tour and sit down. So he sat down, and for 15, 20 minutes, Uecker had a great conversation with him. He was a little bit late for his tour. I'm sure he had a great story for his tour that day. But he was a great guy, very normal, down-to-earth good person. So, good to go. You can take pictures down there if you want. We're going to go out and to the left.
Yeah.
You can slide all the way down, let us folks get in the front row if they want. Yes, we'll talk about that. Yeah, actually, that's a new thing. I never seen it.
Catch the ball.
Yeah, it's for the ball. It's for the ball.
Oh, because they open it?
Yeah, so that's so it's Major League mandate that the windows are open, and then you can tell that screen is high, but it's not high enough. Trying to look at the walls.
Wait, will they have enough time to catch us and catch us?
Maybe. I've heard nobody's been injured, but I've heard laptops and tablets have been destroyed as balls come. So you can see on the walls, they mark them. Quite a few, actually. Contreras has quite a few.
Contreras has a few.
He has quite a few.
He was in Euchre's too.
He's actually not. He gets a hold of it. He's usually on it, but just following it off. So yeah, they put the name of the hitter, who the pitcher was, the team, and the date. And the one that physically I don't understand unless it hit this corner is right there.
Wait, you got a couple.
There's a couple of unique ones, right? So that's kind of fun. So if you would have done this tour about just over 2 years ago, you would have had 22 years of balls. Because they just replastered. It was like, where'd you put that wall? All that history, all those names.
It's right there, beyond plaster.
Maybe. So that's kind of fun. So this press box holds 115 people. The PA announcer and the statistician would be in the front row on the left, where they're sitting right there by the pitch. They're sitting by the pitch clock. Is right there. So obviously all that information is being communicated back to that scoreboard room that we saw. So the other thing I want to tell you about is the story of Bernie Brewer. So Bernie Brewer, so we have Bernie Chalet now in left field here at American Family Field, but he goes back to 1970. And what happened was, that was the year the Brewers started. The first couple months, we weren't drawing the attendance we were hoping. And there was a fanatical baseball Brewer fan named Milt Mason. He was a retired engineer that said, I'm going to go sit on top of the scoreboard until the Brewers get a sellout. Well, they talked him into, how about just 40,000 people? Sellout? Okay. So think of the scoreboard back in 1970 was probably manually operated, probably pretty wide, enough for a black and white TV, a sofa chair, and a small refrige. And so he stayed on top of that scoreboard for 40 days and 40 nights, and I didn't pick the number, that's really what it was, 40 days and 40 nights, until they got 40,000 people in the stands on a bat day. And Milt might have had a plan to go up, but he didn't have a plan to come down, because they threw up a rope, and that's how he came down. He burned his hands, burned the inside of his thighs, because that's the only way he could get down. But then fast forward to 1973, they put a barrel with a slide that went into a mug of beer. It was a fake beer, but it was a mug of beer, and that's where a guy in lederhosen, now Bernie Brewer, comes out on the chalet, and he slides down at the beginning of the game. Actually, I'll ask the question. How many times are you guaranteed to see Bernie slide down the slide?
Twice.
What, for what, the whole year?
No, during the game. During the game.
Oh.
During the game. You're
Once
guaranteed.
at the beginning of the
You're
game.
guaranteed one.
And once at the end of the game, because he has to get out of the chalet.
No. Good thought though. No,
No
it's just,
seventh inning slide?
no, it's just once you're guaranteed, and then every home run,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the game when they win, so they'll be 3 times this weekend, right?
So that's right.
Oh!
At least.
Where is this slide?
I just got that. Sure, I'm always thinking about
So yeah, you can actually, there's another tour that you can do the slide. I believe it's $90, and you get to go down 3 times. From what I'm not good with heights, so I'll never be doing this slide. But I've heard you get there, and it's like, it looks like you're jumping like straight down. So you jump down, and so I learned from some Dodger fans that the reporter that was here last year was apparently a little on the cocky side. And he's like, I'm going to go down this slide. And so he gets up there, broadcasting live or whatever. He slides down, breaks his arm, and rolls his ankle as he slides into the wall. Did you have you ever heard of that?
Yep. Yeah, I saw that.
Some other Dodger fan made the comment that
Yeah.
there was this guy and he's on the cocky side.
Yep.
Okay.
I remember seeing that last year, yeah.
So kind of cool. So now you see there's our scoreboard. That's the new scoreboard I was telling you about. 12,000 square feet. It's twice as big because that advertising on the side now is digital. Last year it was fixed. So now you can go, it's end-to-end 8mm LED technology, and the granularity is pretty incredible for those replays. And the same thing on the upper right-hand corner there in right field. That's just under 6,000 square feet, just a little bit bigger than what you can put in your great room, but that was new as well. But it was interesting, they were going to the games early in the season, how they kind of tweaked, what do we want to see? They have all this place for information, and they kind of changed what they were doing, and probably there were some surveys involved in terms of what fans want to see. So if you go to a game, usually on the smaller screen, they'll actually give you all the pitch types and the speeds. Is going to be one of the pieces of information up there. So you see our footsteps down there? We're all down there. That's all our footsteps down there.
Question.
Yeah.
So when the guy goes to go down that slide, do they show it on the big screen?
I don't think it's on the big screen.
So you can know he's coming down?
At home, you see.
Well, it's you know because it's at the beginning of, before they do the lineups, they'll come down and fireworks go off. It's like right after the home run, and then after the last pitch for the out.
Yeah, okay.
Those are, so you get an indication of when he's going down.
So we'll see.
Oh,
ones.
Let's go. Security.
Tonight, guaranteed.
Security, I need some help.
So who was the best exciting player to watch on the Brewers?
Who's the best exciting player? Oh, it's Jackson Churio. Hands down.
Churio?
Churio.
Yelich is a good.
How
Or
about
Yelik's been gone for the last 2 months. He's been
Is he
injured.
hurt?
He's
Oh,
out.
yeah,
He's out.
I thought we were gonna see
So
him.
we're doing all this with Yelik behind our back.
Mm,
Who's your best player? Was he-
that explains a lot.
Yelik was our best player.
So what about the bench? Who's the best player to watch on the bench?
Is Lindor back yet?
Yeah, or,
Because he had a back problem.
yeah, he got
Did you bring
hurt.
your bat boy?
I mean, it'd be Lindor or the first baseman, Alonso.
Alonso's been,
He's showing his age.
I think, I mean, we got a lot of players on the Mets that have been showing up, so. Not just, Lindor definitely has stuff.
Because, yeah,
And
he's a
he is
name
gonna
for
play.
MVP.
Yeah.
His
He is
name's
gonna
been thrown
play.
out there
So
for
Lindor this year,
MVP.
definitely.
He played for Houston, Texas.
Who, Lindor?
Lindor, Cleveland.
Cleveland.
You could be a true guy
There you go. There you go. All right, let's go, friends. Next. Please push the chairs back in if you use them. That's great, but just
there. Same for tonight?
put them back the way you had them. That'd be great. Because it's not just a parking lot. If you know anything about the Milwaukee Brewer baseball experience, it's doing tailgate parties out here. We have over 12,500 parking spots, which is crazy, 12,500. We used to be the most in major leagues until Texas had to do a Texas thing and become a little bigger than us. I've heard there's 12,501, I'm not sure, but nonetheless, we have a lot.
You just gotta expand a little bit.
That's right. So I do know that the Brewers actually own the largest amount of property in baseball. They're over 250 acres. So the tailgating piece is if you have a chance to come, if you are coming to the game, take the opportunity to kind of walk through and enjoy the smells. The tailgate parties at Brewer games are fantastic. Second only to Packer game wins on Sundays. So that's kind of cool. So there you see the namesake for the original Miller Park, was right across the Expressway.
Yep.
And any rumors you've heard about like a walkway or beer tap across underneath the Expressway, I haven't seen it yet.
Totally true.
Nope, I have not seen it. Nope, I haven't seen it.
Running need to know this.
I have not seen it. So then to my left, it's basically it was a replica of Miller Park minus the roof. That's Health Air Field on the left. So that was built in 2001 as well for $3 million. It houses like Little League, All-Star games, wiffle ball, softball, and on Sundays it's a family day where you can just go and have lunch on the third base side and throw the ball around in center field if you want. Kind of cool. And then you come left a little bit, you see a wall with inlaid gold and then two gentlemen and a lady on the statue. That's in tribute to over 5,000 men and women that worked on the stadium back in the late 90s. And then unfortunately we did have an accident. 3 of our workers, 3 males, 3 men, perished when Big Blue fell on the first base side. But it was crazy. One of the most eerie days of my life because I was coming home from work on 94 and you just see this big blue piece of metal over our first base sideline. One of the most eerie days of my life. But nonetheless, we lost 3 people that day. And then for those of you out of town, promise me that you're going to go out and take a picture next to the I Love Milwaukee mural on the left over here. Okay, all right. So that's that. So then in front of you, you'll see 2. There's actually 4 that are a little bit out of view. Some people refer to it as the Mount Rushmore for the Brewers. So we talked about Bud Selig off to the right. Hank Aaron is to my left. So Hank Aaron, I think, is the home run king.
Yes, yes,
Some can argue.
Cheap.
I think he's the home run king. So he actually played for the Milwaukee Braves, the Orlando Braves, and he finished his career here in Milwaukee. And he hit his 755th home run at County Stadium. So if you look out in the parking lot right in front of us, and you see that green waste management bin, and then you go over about 5 or 6 parking spaces, and then come forward just a little bit, you see some red bricks inlaid in the pavement. That's where Hank Aaron's 755th home run landed. All right? So actually during tailgate parties, you'll see people form a little circle around it, right, twisting or whatever. So painting on the shit 755th. So giving you that piece of information, now you kind of know if that's left field. And then if I tell you on top of the third base dugout, there's a replica of home plate from County Stadium. Now you start getting an idea of what County Stadium was. It started on the far side and came toward us. And I actually have a picture. It's a picture on my phone, but nonetheless, it's a picture that you can get a better sense of how American Family Field was built alongside County Stadium. And actually coming to a game sitting in the lower upper grandstands at the time, you could see the Miller Park rising from the ground. Pretty incredible. Kind of cool. Yep. Oh, sir. Yeah, so kind of cool. So we're kind of like this, right? So that's kind of cool. So that's Hank Aaron. Then there's 2 others. The Robin Yount, we can't see. So if you walk around, you can see Robin Yount, the kid. He was an 18-year-old shortstop in 1974. Played for 20 years, all with the Brewers. He was the first Major League Baseball player to win MVP at 2 different positions, both shortstop and center field. He went on to hit 3,000 hits, and he's in the Hall of Fame as a Brewer. Pretty cool. And then the last person we talked about already, Bob Uecker. So that's our 4.
Who's that guy down there?
That was Bud Seeley. Bud Seeley. Yep. All right. So there are some things we're talking about. There's some bubblers over there. Water bubblers. Over there.
This is awesome.
In American Family Field, 45 at this level, 19 at the field level. These are typically rented out by businesses, and you run about $100,000 for the year. So that's 81 games, and that doesn't include playoffs. That doesn't include concerts. You know, it's just 81 games, and it doesn't include food and beverages. You and I could get one of these. They'll have them to, I'll say, personal suites. Once again, 20 to 30 people, probably be on the order of $3,000. Same idea, beverages and food is separate. I'm going to point out another one that we're going to go to, kind of a good deal. This is a good deal. I mean, nice and intimate setting. You can sit outside, can sit in the air conditioning. It's a pretty nice set. Like I said, there's 64 of these in the building. So pretty cool place to be. My personal favorite seats are those right below these suites. There's actually they're cushioned seats. You can punch in a QR code and order from your seat. You have access to air conditioning. It's value-wise, I think it's probably one of the best seats in the house. Okay? All right. Sir, we're going to be right here. So this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So this is called the Northwestern Mutual Legends Suite and Legends Club. And so you and 24 of your closest friends, so usually it's the 25 people thing, you call up group sales and I don't want to do that. So what you get for one ticket for that baseball experience. Here you might get kind of like the tailgate stuff, right? Hot dogs, brats, hamburgers, all you can eat. All you can eat. Or you can wait for a chef-prepared meal over here. Might be prime rib, might be some pasta, could be anything. A chef-prepared meal, once again, all you can eat. You get 2 adult beverages, And as we're gonna walk down below, you're gonna see there's a bar outside. You have all the soda and water you can drink. You can sit in the air-conditioned area here, or as we walk outside, you'll see the area that you'll be able to sit at, first come, first serve. So all of that for a ticket. What do you think that, what I've heard in some of our East Coast, some of the bigger cities, some of the other parks throughout the country, this experience, for all the things I just rattled off, probably close to $1,000. For here in American Family Field, it's between 100 and 140. So I mean, right, you start stacking a decent ticket, and then you put those 2 adult beverages, because I'm a snob and I get all the craft beer over there, right? You get the nice beers, and then all you can eat whatever, and you don't get, it doesn't take much to get to $100. So pretty affordable, pretty cool deal for you and 24 of your friends. You know, I haven't done this. I need to take advantage of this. I haven't done it. I have to pay friends to get to 25, but I'm going to try to do that.
Just this area, right? Not the...
No, this whole thing.
But you can put one on 25.
Right, but it holds up to the start behind. So you're going to be sharing it with other groups. Your group is minimum of 25, and then there might be up to 12 other groups, whatever the math is. But still, nonetheless, pretty cool. And I feel if I want to point out the Milwaukee Braves, so we do have some artifacts from Atlanta that we chose to put up with our Milwaukee Braves logos. 2 Hall of Famers, Eddie Matthews, the third baseman, and Warren Spahn, our left-handed pitcher. Eddie Matthews is actually the only baseball player that played for Boston, Milwaukee, and Atlanta Braves. And Warren Spahn was a good left-handed pitcher. Both Hall of Famers. All right, we're going to go down this way.
Turn in our tickets and get it right.
Kind of a cool spot. So this is we have a bunch of different special seating areas. Obviously, I shared with you the Northwest Mutual. This is called the Casamigas patio, and so it's kind of a cool view. But the one little secret is anybody in the stadium with a ticket can come sit here, first come, first serve. So it's kind of open seating. And the only thing is, I mean, if you sit down, if you got a table or whatever, they might ask you to buy something for every half hour, 45 minutes. And if you buy that beer or those nachos, that might be a little more expensive than, say, the beer or nachos that you get in the regular part of the stadium. But nonetheless, kind of a cool experience for a little while. So there's a bunch of other, I'll say, cool opportunities beyond just sitting in the bowl. To our left, we have that Miller area, the table seating there. Right below it, the barrel yard, that's the restaurant we saw at the field level. You can kind of see the seats right along the bullpen. I was very fortunate enough to go to a game with my dad and my 2 brothers the first game that CC Sabathia pitched with us, and I was looking right over watching CC Sabathia warm up. That was pretty cool. So that's kind of a cool spot. Then Toyota Territory over in right center field. Vizzy Loft, another one a little bit further up. And then the Johnsonville Party Deck. And one of my favorites is actually at field level, the Aurora Health Bullpen. And so you're actually at eye level with the ball players on the field. So fun story about Toyota Territory. There's that Tacoma truck that's up there. So if a brewer hits that on the flag, a random fan gets the truck. Maybe not that truck because it's dented, but a random fan gets a truck. And it last happened in 2019. Mike Moustakis hit the truck. And can you imagine that coming home? Hey, honey, I want to go to the ball game with a couple buddies, and you come home with a Tacoma truck. I think that'd be kind of cool. So the other thing that was happening, so actually not far from now, they're going to start batting practice. So the Brewers will go first and then the Mets. So if you come right when the stadium opens, you'll see the back end of the Mets batting practice. But what was happening is the big left-handers were like, hey, you and me, let's go. Let's hit for the truck. So the big visiting team left-handers would be trying to aim to hit the truck. Well, the Brewers got on that, and you'll see a screen that goes up during batting practice. During batting practice, there's a screen that goes up. So it's kind of like not in my house.
Hey, how much is that?
There's specific seating, I don't know.
The scoreboard.
Oh, the scoreboard, how much it cost? You know what, I knew it once upon a time, but I've been overwhelmed by other information. I do not know how much it costs.
I hope it came with a replacement box. They're going to kill it.
Are you? Actually, hey, you know what? Jackson Cheerio, that the lower left corner of that country music card, if you will, Jackson Cheerio hit that actually not several weeks ago. In the post-game news conference, they had a picture. They took the panel out, right? Great modular engineering. They took the panel out, and they had a picture of Jackson Cheerio with this big ball mark in one of the panels. So it's replaceable. So go have at it. Good? All right, so we won't be able to go this next area, so I'm going to kind of give you the story, but I want to get you a feel for it. So this next area that we're going into, it actually used to be called the JCI 300 Club, and it was kind of a higher-end dining experience, and it was really only available to us during the games. So, like I was saying before, there's two buckets of money. There's that public funding, and then there's the Brewers' operational expense. And the Brewers have been trying to do more to expand the number of opportunities we have to enjoy this beautiful facility. They put in X-Golf. So it's nine golf simulators, 9 bays with golf simulators, $45 on a non-game day for up to 6 people for an hour. On game day, it's up to $90 because they won't let you bring in golf clubs. Go figure. But nonetheless, a good deal. If you're a golfer and you're interested, I believe they still have the promotion that you can get it closer to the pin than the Brewers. So they'll have, Freddie Peralta 10 feet by the pin, and then you can come up and put your name in a hat and take 3 swings on a simulator and see if you can get closer than Freddie Peralta, and then you win some nachos or something like that. But nonetheless, so what's that?
Your numbers coming at you.
Right. But the other thing is, as we go in and kind of take a peek at it, that area as well, it's air conditioned, it's kind of cool. We're not going to be able to walk through it, but I'll show you just the beginning part of it. That area is the same thing. That first area where you see the seats, that's first come, first serve. If you have a seat in the bowls, you can come up and sit in it. So let's see if it was open. We will go partially in and then we'll come back up. You can look as we will go out that way. But one of the other things that the Brewers have been doing the last number of years is trying to have more concerts at American Family Field. And so we had Green Day, we had a couple, Luke Combs I believe was here earlier. Yep, so last year they had Morgan Wallen. So you imagine center field's where they put the stage, and they'll put some other seating on some planks in the infield that you're sitting on. Last year for Morgan Wallen, they had to replace the turf at a cost of $250,000 because it got so ripped up. So they said, well, we can't, that's not sustainable if we keep on doing all these concerts. So this year, between foul pole and foul pole out to the outfield fence, they actually have a Lambeau turf that's in the outfield. And it only covers like 5%, which is amazing to me that it does anything. So just think of 100 blades of grass, 5 of them are artificial. But that's what they did to kind of maintain or give it a better chance to survive concerts. And it seems like it's worked. They've had 4 concerts and haven't had any problem. But I actually saw a grounds crew person meticulously fixing a tile. It was like a 2-foot by 2-foot square. And he literally had like a needle point with some artificial turf, and kind of took that and boom, boom, and one by one, that's how they populate. It's almost like a, what's that, hook point or whatever? Cross stitch or whatever. But that's what it was. And then they go in and cut it to a 1/4 inch, and they put it down and the grass grows up. Pretty cool. All right, friends, we're going to go back out that way. That's what I have for you for the tour today. Hope you learned a little bit about Milwaukee Brewer baseball and how much I love it. It's a wonderful city. It's a wonderful stadium. If you're here, I hope my Wisconsin and Milwaukee brothers and sisters treat you kind and friendly. Otherwise, have a great day. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.